Hey guys, sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties. We're not sure exactly what was going on, but we got a little bit into the video and it cut off. So hopefully this works. Take two. So today's video, this is our first time, by the way, doing a live stream on YouTube. Obviously, we don't have it figured out yet. We just did a live on Facebook. So if you're joining us from there, this is going to be a tiny bit of a repeat, like I said before, because I'm going to be talking about some of the same things. So what I want to do today, a couple different things. I want to talk to you about this succulent arrangement. We just uploaded this video yesterday. And then I'd like to answer some of your guys' questions. So let's talk about this one first, because typically when we do a video, when we put one together, we like to do a fast version and a long version. So the fast version is just seeing the arrangement come together quickly. For those of you who just want to see the arrangement, like you don't really want to know about the details or hear me talk about it or whatever. I appreciate videos like that. I like quick moving stuff. So we always try to do one of those, and then we try to do a long version where I tell you more of the process of the project, how I put it together in detail, where I got all my stuff. But we didn't get it together for this one. So we thought we would get on today and share some of those details with you guys. So that's what I'll do first. So first of all, as far as the bird cage goes, I got this at Joann Fabric and Craft Store. And in all of our videos, down in the description, if you guys ever want to know where we got our stuff, like where I got my supplies or the tools I'm using, we try to link all of those things down in the description section. So yeah, you can find a link to that in the description section. We'll add it to this video as well. So I started with that, and then you can go about putting this type of arrangement together two different ways. So you can either...
Hal Roberts.
Oh.
Sent $2.
Oh, who
Shout
did?
out from Northern India, Zone 5, Hal Roberts.
Hal Roberts, thank you so much. From Indiana?
Northern Indiana.
Indiana. Awesome, thanks for joining us today. Okay, so you can go about putting this together in two different ways. You can either plant succulent cuttings right in moss, or you can use soil. So I was going to put this together with moss, and I decided to go the soil route. But if you were going to go moss, you would want to glue a big pile, like a mound of sphagnum moss, right to the center of this platform inside, and then you can glue the individual succulents into the moss. And you can use either a clear tacky gel glue that you can get at the craft store, any craft store has it, or you can use hot glue. And I know every time I do an arrangement with hot glue, there's like a riot in the comment section because people think I am killing the plants with the hot glue. And it actually doesn't hurt them at all. The succulent cuttings will form roots right around that glue, right into the moss, and they do fine. In fact, we did a series on it, it's probably been 2 years ago, where I did a little driftwood arrangement. I did the succulents hot glued into moss, and then we did like a 2-month or 3-month update, and then a 6-month update when I took the succulents off and replanted them in soil. So if you want to go way back into the depths of our video bank, you can find that little series and see how that works. The reason why I decided to go soil is because the succulents will last longer. If you can have a soil reservoir for them, they can root into it. There's a little bit more opportunity for nutrients in that soil and that sort of thing. So how I did that was, you can use like a clear saucer if you want to be your reservoir, and then you could just tuck moss around, decorative moss around the outsides just to hide it. I used a piece of landscape fabric in this case because I could mold it however I wanted, and I could get the height of the sides as high as I wanted them. So I just tucked that in to the bird cage. Then I put a little bit of soil in. I used the Espoma organic cactus mix like I always do. I put that in there, and then I got some of this moss, which is a super moss brand. That's the type of moss I like to use. I got it wet, got all the moisture out of it, so it's just damp, and then I just tucked it into the sides. So it stays pretty well right there. It hides the landscape fabric, and it looks a little bit more decorative. And then I just started planting. So I used 100% cuttings in this arrangement, which I did the cuttings maybe 2 days. I think it was 2 days before I put this arrangement together, so that gave the ends of the cuttings a chance to heal or callus, and that's super important when you're doing an arrangement like this. You want to make your cuttings in advance, let them dry, and then you can introduce them to soil and you can water it right away, and they won't be as susceptible to rot. You can use fresh cuttings if you want, but you just have to wait about a week in order to water it. They still will dry down in that soil. You just have to make sure that soil is dry. But those ends will eventually dry. You just have to give them a little bit longer if they're in the soil. So That's about it on arranging. I do find it a lot easier to use cuttings if I want to create an arrangement that's this like tight, full of succulents, which you guys know I like my stuff like tight and packed in there. And that's probably one of the top 2 questions I get about my arrangements is, are the succulents gonna die? Did you leave enough room for them to grow? But you know, when you plant them this close together, the growth rate decreases dramatically. They will not grow as quick as they would as if you were to, they would not grow as quickly as if you were, I don't know how to say that sentence. If you put the cutting in a pot of soil and it had a bigger reservoir, it would grow a lot quicker than it does when they're all jammed together like this. I also don't fertilize arrangements like this very often, and that way you don't deal with any extra pushes of growth. I could expect to get about a year out of an arrangement like this with just minor grooming. So you know how succulents get like little dried leaves at the base? I'd have to pop those off occasionally, and then I may have to pop a succulent out here or there depending on the growth rate, just to make room for the other succulents. But that will be few and far between. Like I have a Cristula right here up in front. These tend to grow a little bit quicker, so I might have to pop that one out, repot it in its own pot, and then that way it gives these little succulents up here a little bit more chance to grow. So anyway, it doesn't hurt them one bit to be planted in close quarters like this, and they should do really, really great for lots and lots of months. The other question I get a lot is how I water these succulents. So for this one, it's really easy because it's in landscape fabric that lets all the water drain. I can just pop this thing off. It just pops off like that. And then I can take it to the sink, water it from overhead, let it drain for about 30 minutes, and then I can just hang it right back up and I'm good to go. The other way you can do it was with a syringe. That makes watering really a lot easier. You can just suck up some water in a large syringe and then direct it right toward the root balls of your plants, and I do that in a lot of mixed arrangements. That way if I've got like a cactus in my arrangement that doesn't need quite as much water, I don't have to water around it. So I can just water around the succulents that need it the most. And then light is another question I get a lot of. And these succulents right now are looking so prime and so beautiful because they've been outside, they've been in a lot of light, and they've been exposed to colder nighttime temperatures, so the color is just like out of this world. That's why they look like this. But I do have to start bringing mine inside now because tomorrow night it's supposed to get 30 degrees tomorrow night. I'm not quite ready for it to get that cold yet. So I've already got most of my plants inside. So I move all of my tender succulents inside, and then I just make sure they get put in a really sunny window. So the sunniest window that I can find in my house, which is where this one's gonna go, on a pillar. And then if I notice the succulents start to etoliate, and that's another word for if they start to stretch a little bit, like they're reaching for light, or if they start to like get mellower in color, I can take this upstairs into my plant room, which I've showed you guys, and put it under a grow light for a while, and that helps them maintain the beautiful shape and color. And I have those lights running from about 7:38 in the morning till between 9 and 10 at night. They run a long time during the winter months, because those months, even if you have it in a really like your brightest window, the light isn't as intense, it's not as bright, so they don't get quite what they need. So I find that grow lights are super important to the health of my plants. So that's pretty much it on this. I can't think of anything else that that I did. So now I'll just start answering some questions. So if you guys have some questions, please put them up on the screen right now. I know a couple of them that I talked about earlier. There's a wreath right behind me. Right, my sense of direction's off. Right there. I got a lot of questions in the Facebook Live on what that was. So I looked up the proper name. I made that wreath. It's from some seed pods off of a tree that I have in my yard. The tree is called a Coloratura paniculata. I hope you can see that. It's also called a golden rain tree, but I know golden rain tree is something different in my area. I don't know. But what it does is it blooms these beautiful yellow blooms like late spring, early summer, and that's followed by these like Chinese lantern looking things. So I just harvested them when they were fresh, and I just hot glued them to a wreath form. So that's what the wreath is. It's kind of a pain because it's really dry and we keep hitting it. So there's like pieces of it on our kitchen floor right now. The things we do, right? Oh, how's the baby? I've been seeing lots of questions about that. So you guys, I am like pretty much on the dot, about 6 months right now. So we have 3 months to go. Baby is super healthy, doing really, really well. I am Yeah, I mean, like, there's no sickness. As far as like morning sickness was just the first 2 months, which it was from morning till night. Like, there was no morning about it. It was all day long sickness. Thankfully that went away. And now everything is fine, dealing with a little bit of pain around my rib cage area because it's not expanding on the right side like it should, because I do have mild scoliosis, which I know a lot of people deal with, but it's never been a problem until like something wants to move it. So it's not wanting to move. So there's a lot of friction going on right there, but I'm dealing with it. As long as the baby's healthy and happy, I'm feeling him move a lot. It is a boy, for those of you guys who don't know, but hi Cade, I see your comment there from LA. Thanks for joining us this morning. I wonder how hot it is there right now. It's like 55 out here right now, you guys. It is so glorious. I'm just loving it. So yeah, everything's going great with baby. We're working on the nursery. In fact, I will show you guys some probably video of it, what we've done with the nursery. It's a total gut job on one of our bedrooms, like new carpet. We're putting up wainscot. Some pretty stuff that I've wanted to do anyway. It's just a good excuse to get it done. We have not decided yet whether or not, oh Kate, it's 87 degrees in LA. Oh, it's a little warm. Yeah, what was I saying?
Baby room?
Yeah, baby room. Oh, channel. So we haven't decided whether or not we're going to start a second channel and do like a Garden Answer family or something like that, that's more geared toward baby and what we're doing as a family and vacations and stuff like that. I think it would be really fun. I think we're gonna have to wait till the baby's here because we have no idea what it's gonna do to our lives. This is our first baby. So I think we're just gonna kind of tread lightly and just take things as they come. We are gonna continue Garden Answer forever, I hope. So we'll still keep making videos. We'll probably take a couple weeks where we're a little bit quieter, but we'll have some stuff done and ready for you guys for that brief little time. But anyway, yeah, we haven't decided on that yet. We haven't decided on a name yet. We have some ideas, but I don't know. I think I might need to meet him first. But okay, Debbie's asking, should I propagate succulents in potting soil or peat? I use potting soil. I've never tried peat moss. You could try it, might do okay. I haven't really heard of anybody, there's probably people who do that, but I have really good success just using my cactus mix. I just lay the leaves on the top and then I use my syringe to water every couple of days just to lightly moisten the soil, and they do really well. Okay, how to take care of a maple tree. I guess it kind of depends on what kind of maple tree you have. We grow both Japanese maples here in Eastern Oregon. We do have to make sure they're in kind of a protected shady spot because it gets way too hot here for them. We can't put them in full sun. And then the other maple trees, it's just consistent watering. They're not prone to insect problems or disease here. So we just have to make sure we've got lots of water to them, especially in the first couple of years, and they do really well. My favorite maple tree variety of all time is a red point maple. You guys should look it up. It's red point with an E on the end. We had a couple of them in our old garden, and I think we're going to order some to put in next year. Next year is going to be the year of trees, you guys. We're going to just start planting a bunch of trees in our new garden. But the red point maple is amazing. It seems to color up earlier than all the rest of the maples in our area, and then it drops their leaves, like all the leaves fall in about a week's time. So you only have to go out there once and clean them up. I really appreciated that about that maple. So do I have any fruit trees? I do not have any fruit trees. I'm a little mixed on whether or not I'm going to actually do a small orchard or not. I just don't know if I want the maintenance. We are really agricultural where I live, so there are a ton of options as far as where I can get fresh produce like all the time. And I'm gonna do the whole vegetable garden thing and the small fruit thing, like raspberry and strawberries, things like that, blackberries probably, blueberries. But fruit trees are a little bit more maintenance, and I just don't know if I want to dive in. I think I would rather do animals than fruit, like an orchard. I think I would rather do like chickens and a horse, which I'm trying to talk Aaron into, rather than an orchard. I don't know. My parents have a small orchard, and I went out there last year and we did some pruning and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't know. We'll just have to see how that one goes. Can you make a video about bonsai trees? We've talked about that. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about bonsai trees. In fact, I would like to take a course on that. I think it would be extremely interesting. I love to go to garden, like when we go Philadelphia Flower Show, when we were there this spring, they had an amazing bonsai display. and I just, like, it's crazy amazing. So I would love to know more about it. I've done like little things, but nothing like Japanese maple or quince or juniper or any of those really cool looking bonsais before. So I just saw one. Love the decorative cabbage. Sorry you guys, I'm trying to keep up. Sometimes I can't read fast enough. Can you please make more succulent videos? Yes, we will. We always tend to switch. Like in the winter time, we'll switch to more succulent-based projects because that's what we have to do because we have too much snow out here. There's nothing to do outside in our gardens. So then we switch to more like crafty stuff, succulents, and more houseplant-based projects, and some decorating stuff. Not a whole lot, but we do that in the winter time. So get ready for it because a lot of succulents are probably coming your way. Any tips for people who want to do a gardening YouTube channel? Wow. Yeah, so I think the thing that Erin and I always tell people is, one, when we started Garden Answer, we never, ever, ever in a million years thought we would be doing it full time, for one. Well, kind of. I still work down at the garden center too. But we never thought we would be able to actually make it a thing like that we were able to do. It was just purely hobby. I think what it comes down to is being consistent. So if you're gonna start one, you need to kind of decide like I mean, you don't need to decide on a goal. I didn't have a goal. Just kind of decide what kind of things you're gonna show and then decide how often you're gonna post and stick to it. I think that's the problem with most things. It's hard to be consistent, especially if you're not getting a lot of feedback, and we didn't get a lot of feedback for quite a while. I mean, we had a very small channel, and it was fun, you know, we still had fun. We had lots of friends and family watching, but it stayed like that for a long time, and it can be a little bit discouraging because you're thinking, well, is this worth the time? Should we be doing this? But I think just being consistent and keep on going and just try to have fun with it, I think those would be my main tips for you. Can you do one more garden tour of your garden center? So I would love to do like a seasonal garden tour there. I would love to show what it looks like even in the winter time, because we do Christmas stuff. We do cut Christmas trees, we do live Christmas trees. The whole store turns over to a Christmas shop. It's really neat. So I'd love to show you guys that. I'd love to show you, well, early spring. I'd love to show you summer. The only time of year that I don't like to really do any tours is right in the middle of summer because everything just bakes here. It is so hot and everything looks so weary for about a month. There's that 1 month that I'm like, oh, okay, I don't even really want to be out here. It's 110 degrees. It's really uncomfortable. The plants are looking uncomfortable. The second they get a whiff of fall temperatures, everything starts looking so much better. We are going to do a tour of the seed plant down at our garden center. I think it's going to be really interesting. That's actually a huge part of what we do down at the garden center is clean and bag and distribute non-GMO alfalfa, clovers, wheat, and a lot of the seed goes to the Midwest, and we're here in Eastern Oregon. We do a lot of pasture grasses, both irrigated and dry land. We do a lot of dry land and native grasses for like reclamation projects for like where there's been forest fires and things like that. It's really fascinating, and all of our equipment is so ancient. It is so neat to go into the seed plant and just see the whole process from when the seeds dropped off, how it's cleaned, how all the junk, you know, that is harvested with the seed, all the plant material and the weed seeds and all that stuff, how it all is extracted and how it becomes clean seed and then how it's bagged and all that. So I think we're going to do that, I hope, this fall, because we're in full tilt operation right now. We have multiple shifts going, so I think that would be really fun. Okay. What are you going to do with the roses you're going to get rid of? Okay, so the roses that I'm planning on removing, which they're right in front of me, I'm looking at them right now, it's kind of sad. Kind of. I don't really get sentimentally attached to my plants super bad. Well, and these ones aren't even mine. I didn't plant them. They were in the garden when we bought the house, so I feel less bad, but there are a few, like several of them that are like severely iron deficient. There are several that have viruses. Those will all be burned because I don't want any of the viral issues happening anywhere else, so we dig them up and have them removed and burned. And then the other ones, there are a few I'm going to keep because they're beautiful, like a variety called Distant Drums. There's a couple of old English roses in there that I love, so we'll relocate a couple of them. But I think this area, once we have it cleared. We're gonna kind of redo the entryway. I'll add in some David Austin English roses, which are my favorite. And that's what it's about. You guys should always enjoy what's in your garden. You know, if you move into a new place and you don't love what's there, just get rid of it. You know, it's just like, don't live with stuff that isn't either thriving, it's not producing flowers, it looks sickly, or if it's not your color. You know, if it's not the colors you like. I have some in there that are just really, really bright red, and I'm not a huge red in the garden fan. It just doesn't go with the rest of my palette. So you gotta make it what you like. You have to love what it looks like because it makes it so much more pleasant to work out in. Hope you plant some lavender next year. Oh, I'm planning on it. Lavender is one of my favorites. I'm thinking along the west side of our house of putting a hedge in. I would love to do a hedge on either side of our driveway. Wouldn't that be beautiful to drive down a lane lined with lavender, because it looks so pretty throughout the whole season, and it does really well in our area because we're high desert. So it likes the heat, it likes the dry, it can handle all those conditions, so I think it would do really well. Hi from Tucson, Arizona. Okay. Oh. Get rid of it if it doesn't do it for you. Yes. Can you do a video on... Sorry, you guys, they're moving kind of fast. When will you start your Christmas decorating? You know, it's kind of funny because the industry we're in, it's hard to like not want to decorate early so that you can create video content or pictures or whatever early, so that you can get people, like, get it out so that you guys can see it early enough to maybe be inspired by it. But what we do, what Erin and I do, and what we are going to try to maintain is to be as real as possible, as real time as possible. I'm not going to decorate 2 months in advance for Christmas so that we can have content like that. We might work a few weeks in advance. You know, I might start decorating like the areas we don't go in the house very much a little early for Christmas, but I probably won't put the Christmas tree up until after Thanksgiving. I want things to just kind of flow like they do in real life. So, oh, Hal Roberts asks, Erin, do you enjoy gardening? He just gave me the, you know. He comes out here and he helps me a lot. He digs holes, like big holes for me, especially now that I'm pregnant and 6 months pregnant. It's getting harder to do that kind of thing. So he comes out and he helps me do whatever I need help with. He doesn't love it. He takes care of the grass though and does a really good job. You guys have probably noticed in the videos how good the grass looks. So that takes like a huge burden off my, you know, my chest to not have to worry about that. So anyway, will you be making another wreath arrangement this year? Probably. It's always fun to try out different things in wreaths or different shapes of wreaths, so we'll probably try something like that. What else does Erin do? Oh my gosh, so much. So how it works for videos, Erin does 100% of the videography, 100% of the audio, all the editing. He does 100% of the business aspect of what we do. He keeps it running. I don't do any. He like shields me from a lot of that so that I can be out here and be more engaged in what's actually going on in the garden. He also does all the lawn maintenance, all of that sort of thing. I don't know, you're busy all the time. Yeah, Erin's busy all of the time. We kind of share the photography aspect. He does some pictures, I do some pictures. So we share that a little bit, but anyway, yeah, it's a busy time. They'd love to see a grass video by you, Erin. I think that's a great idea, Jordan. Yes. Which succulent in zone 4? So try sedums and sempervivums, so hen and chicks. Those are two really, really hardy succulents that can survive in zone 4. All of these right here, like I said, are all tender succulents, so they would not survive, not even in my zone 5. Probably not zone 6 or 7, maybe not 8 either. Have you got any videos planned for Halloween? So like I said, we do try to keep things real. I might do something decorative for Halloween. This is my first Halloween-esque arrangement. Last year I hollowed out dollar store rats and planted succulents in those and made like a centerpiece with the rats. But this year I kind of wanted to class it up a little bit. And so this was in the Halloween section at Joann's. It's like a black sparkly bird, and I'll probably do some pumpkins and stuff around it. But yeah, I don't really know. Sometimes they just have to come together. So, okay, I think that is it for today, you guys. There's still questions rolling through. I'm sorry, you guys. We have a busy day planned for the rest of the day. It was really fun hanging out with you guys. If I didn't get to your question, I'm really sorry. I am going to try to be better at answering comments on YouTube and Facebook both. It's really hard to not want to spend. I could spend every waking moment talking with you guys. It's fun. I learn a lot. But you know, sometimes you just can't. But I'm going to try to be better about it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.